So, Gawain, should we stay with you and how Reform are doing in general going into these local elections, which unfortunately aren't going to be fought on the terrain of vaping bans and so on, regrettably. But nevertheless, it's looking pretty good for Reform continuing to top the polls nationally. I mean,
I think so.
But at the same time, there's often a narrative, isn't there, that tries to suggest things aren't going as well as they might, that things are stalling. Where do you think your party is standing at this particular point?
It will be a massive disappointment if we do not win 100% of the seats across every single borough, ward, or district in the country, because that will prove that Reform momentum has stalled. What? You only got 1,500 seats and Labour only lost 2,000. That shows it, doesn't it? It's just, I've seen some polls that have us winning 17 councils. So we win 10. Oh, that just proves it, doesn't it? You've stalled. Huh? No, I'm bimbling around the country doing events up and down, out campaigning in places like Newcastle, London, Lyme and Durham and elsewhere. And it's fascinating. And it is the people going out knocking on doors are finding, all politicians say this, I had a great day at the doors, everybody looked at me and said, yes, I'm voting for you. The fact that half of them spat at you and said, be gone, never darken my doors again. But honestly, it's about as positive as I've ever seen it. And you've got to remember last year, we overperformed our polling quite significantly at the councils last year. I thought we were going to come in with 2 or 3 councils. We came out with 10. I'm a natural pessimist, and so I feel that we won't. The upper end of some of these projections, I think, are a bit silly. But I think we're now beginning to see why people might vote for us, which is also interesting. One of my favourite organisations, the Grantham Institute, did a study into what Reform councils have been up to since they got elected last May. And 7 out of the 9, there's one which we won, but we don't have that much power. That's Doncaster, because Labour have the executive mayor. And so they make the policy. But of the 9, 7 have cancelled the climate emergency and have started to remove all that sort of the wokery in their documentation. And it's not to say that they're not doing things on recycling and all the rest of it. It's just that they're not making it a shibboleth. They're not smoking at our virtue. If they've got a contract with somebody that provides greenish things, don't come and ask for us. Don't tell us how wonderful you are. Tell us, does it work? Will it save money? Is it efficient? And they've been operating on quite a pragmatic, non-ideological approach, which is to remove the ideology and just get on with doing the job of providing services. So that to have the Grantham Institute, I read this report from the LSE, Bob Ward and his team, bemoaning what our council have been up to. And every page I read, the bigger my smile got. They were doing exactly what they got elected to do, which was to strip that sort of virtue signalling rubbish. But in Wales, in Scotland, we've got a breakthrough like never before. And it's astonishing. Again, the Sunday Times said, oh, it's looking bad for Reform. They're only going to get 15 seats in the Scottish Parliament. We got less than 1% last time in the Scottish Parliament. And this is so. I think there are problems with momentum that you have to manage expectation. But to me, if we don't get 17 but get 10, that's a massive win. If we don't get 20 seats in the Scottish Parliament, get 15, that's a huge win. If we don't get 30 seats in the Welsh Assembly and get 25, that's a huge win because we're on 0. And so any suggestion that things are looking bad for us, for the birds. But of course, if you look at central Birmingham, central Manchester, central London, you'll see a rise of the Greens and the Gaza Independents. Labour are looking at a drubbing like nothing before. And the Tories are not looking particularly healthy either. But you'll definitely see a rise in the Greens in central London. And as I say, if you look at how Reform councils have performed up until now in the last year, and you've got to remember that's 1 year into a 4-year term. So they were learning, lots of learning curves going on and small stramashes as you start. But they're now settling into the job. And we are now training people for next year, for the councils going on here this time. But I fear if you vote for can you imagine you vote for a Green Council? Supercharged virtue and efficiency and public service being spoken about, but actually the delivery will be different because they're, and look when they've run things in Brighton or the disasters of Brighton. I worry for Birmingham because that looks like it's going to be a Labour, Green, Gaza independent council. And one wonders what their priorities will be.
Surely not bin collections, definitely. I mean, did you see?
I suspect the bin collection will never, ever actually happen. No bin will be collected again. They will, in the Birmingham City Museum, they will have some dustman with a bin there saying, these were a thing in the past, like telephones with dials.
Absolutely. And did you see, Gawain, the other day, Zach Plansky suggesting that the Greens were the party of hope and Reform were the party of hate? I'm not sure what you made of that, but this is how these local elections are shaping up, isn't it? It's very much the Greens versus Reform, even though you're not playing for the same voters and necessarily the same territory. The top line debate.
There's a lot of vibe going on, and actually, if you look at the polling, there is, since the rise of Polanski and his millionaires, billionaires rants, I think you can see amongst the "I hate everybody, sod the lot" vote, then there has been a small switch from Reform to the Greens. Because, frankly, there's a significant proportion of the population who've been, for want of a better term, shat on by the establishment over the last 20 years. They are angry, and he may be incoherent, but he does voice that anger quite effectively. And so it doesn't surprise me that there has been some Reform Green switches in that I don't care what your policies are, I just hate the establishment vote. And that's a growing vote because there's a lot of people who feel that way, I think. And with the impact on first job employment out of university, there's going to be a lot of people with slightly shaky degrees, massive debts, and no job. They have a powerful idea of their own importance because they've got a degree, and they have no idea how they're going to get on in life because of society and the way things are. And they will be a very, very valuable voting bloc for the Greens, who have the same incoherent miscomprehension of how the world works, but feel deeply, deeply entitled to something lovely. I think we are learning very fast that the world isn't lovely. However, Reform have to learn how to be straight with people, but be nice while they do it. And we're not very good at that. We have this idea that people will understand straight language and will accept things. People want to be coddled. They may accept that things are broken. They may accept that the economy isn't working. They may accept all these things. But will they accept the medicine required to cure the patient? It sounds nasty. And that's a tough thing.
Absolutely. Chris, anything you want to ask Gawain here or chuck into this?
I was going to say, what about Restore? Are they making inroads into your vote? Do you think it's a good thing that they might skim off some of the people you don't want in the party, or what?
Restore a little bit like the hole in your tooth. It's massive to your tongue, but it's tiny in reality. To us, but for people particularly on the centre-right, on the right, people who are involved in Reform, Restore is a bigger thing than it is in reality, mainly because we know some of the people. As I go around the country, yes, there are people who are interested in Restore, but I noticed that it was decided, though they have now registered as a political party, that they're only going to fight wards under the title Great Yarmouth First in Great Yarmouth. I note that a lot of the shiny young men surrounding Rupert Lowe describe themselves as ethno-nats, and he came out publicly last week saying he was a civic nat. So what are they going to do now? I note there are some good people who've defected, and the thing is, for the first time, there is a semi-legitimate party to our right that, if people are annoyed and they've had their corn stood on by our processes, can go to. I think they're going to have huge problems with vetting, like we did. They're going to have huge problems with scrutiny, like we do. I think they have no idea how hard it is to set up a political party. I've been involved twice, and trust me, it's very, very hard indeed. The structures, the systems, all the rest of it. I know some of the people who've gone over, and I'm wishing them luck. That's Restore, that is, rather than the people. And it does have the capacity. I think the BNP was good for UKIP because there was a place for some people to go that wasn't us. And I think that UKIP was good for the Brexit Party for the same reason. And I suspect, though it's not there yet, that Restore may well be very good for Reform for the same reason. They are fighting in an area. Now, Rupert, he's forthright, he's decent. I do love the idea that the new sort of ethno-right have their new hero. He's in his late 60s. He owns a farm in the Cotswolds. He has racehorses. He wears his barber, and he's called Rupert. He is absolutely a hero of the age. He is Spode de jour. And he is increasingly coming across as a Roderick Spode figure, I think. I also get the suspicion that some of the things that are said in his name, he's not entirely aware of. I think he allows the young men a lot of leeway in what they say and do. And I think that could become a problem. However, I don't think Reform shouldn't nail the door shut to people who've gone over to Restore. I think a lot of people are very frustrated in Reform. They want to see, why haven't you got Starmer out? Why haven't you stopped the boats? We've been supporting you for a year now, and you haven't stopped the boats. And there's that sort of huge frustration. And so you're having people go to Restore, but I wouldn't bar them from going back, depending on how they behave when they're not with us, because I think a lot of people will go to Restore, are going to Restore, and will find it a touch too astringent for their tastes, and find, oh, I didn't know it was going to be like that. And I suspect there may be a few people going, chaps, do you mind if I come back in? And I hope we have the decency to say, yeah, we get it. It is a mark, but it's not a fatal mark. It's not blind Pew's black spot.